What if I told you that one of those ordinary-looking pennies could actually be worth close to $1 million? Yes, a single 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, something you might have dismissed years ago, has recently shocked collectors by selling for as much as $968,000. And the crazy part? There might still be more of them sitting quietly in jars, drawers, or forgotten boxes across America right now. Imagine that, your gateway to financial freedom, your chance to turn loose change into life-changing wealth, hiding in plain sight. But before we dive into how a 1-cent coin could buy you a luxury home, let's uncover the secret behind this small yet mighty piece of American history. Back in 1968, the United States Mint was transitioning from the remarkable 1960s into a new era of design precision. Lincoln pennies from that year were struck at 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver and San Francisco mints marked their coins with the familiar D and S. But the Philadelphia Mint, that's where things get interesting, produced pennies with no mint mark at all. Normally, these no mint mark coins were common, but a few of them came out different, very different. You see, a handful of these 1968 pennies were struck with unusual die errors, double strikes, or exceptionally sharp proof-like surfaces that made them stand out from the millions of regular coins. Some even had doubled lettering on Liberty or In God We Trust. These rare variations, combined with pristine, untouched condition, transformed a humble cent into a collector's dream. The result? A market frenzy among coin enthusiasts and investors, all desperate to get their hands on one of these flawless gems. Now, here's where it gets thrilling, and maybe even a little unsettling. In 2023, a 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny graded in nearly perfect condition by a top grading service sold for a jaw-dropping $968,000. Yes, you heard that right. One coin, less than an inch wide, fetched almost $1 million. To put that into perspective, that's like finding a Ferrari sitting in your coffee can have changed. So why is this tiny piece of copper worth so much? It all comes down to rarity, demand, and condition. The 1968 no-mint mark penny isn't rare by itself. Hundreds of millions were made. But when a coin survives over 5 decades without a single scratch, dent, or fingerprint, it becomes a treasure. Combine that with potential die errors and strong collector demand, and suddenly the price skyrockets. It's simple supply and demand economics, but with a twist of historical charm and a dash of luck. Now, think about this for a second. When was the last time you actually looked closely at a penny? Most people toss them aside, convinced they're worthless. But the truth is, those who take the time to inspect their coins carefully could be sitting on small fortunes. Every major coin discovery begins with someone who didn't dismiss the ordinary. Someone who asked, what if this one's different? And here's where the opportunity comes in. If you have old jars of coins, boxes inherited from parents or grandparents, or even collections you started years ago and forgot about, it's time to dig them out. Check every penny from 1968, especially those without a mint mark. Look for strong details, clean surfaces, and sharp edges. Even a minor variation could mean thousands of dollars. And if you think this is far-fetched, remember, people laughed when early collectors paid hundreds for rare pennies in the 1950s. Today, those same coins are worth tens or even hundreds of thousands. Now, let's address the question you're probably asking yourself. How do you know if your penny is valuable? Here's the secret. First, you'll need to look at the coin under good lighting. Check Lincoln's profile. Does it look extra sharp or doubled? Examine the Liberty lettering. Does it appear thicker or shadowed? If it does, that could indicate a double die error. And if your coin has a near-perfect, glossy surface with no visible wear, you may have something truly special. The next step is to get it graded by a professional service such as PCGS or NGC. That little plastic holder can turn an unknown penny into a verified investment asset. And here's the kicker. The coin market is hotter now than it's been in decades. Collectors, investors, and even first-time hobbyists are pouring money into rare coins, searching for tangible assets with historical and financial value. As inflation rises and paper money loses value, the idea of wealth preserved in metal, especially U.S. coins, becomes even more appealing. The window to capitalize on this surge won't stay open forever. But there's one more twist in the tale. Experts believe that some 1968 pennies with exceptional quality or unique die characteristics have yet to be found. They're out there, possibly in circulation, possibly sitting unnoticed in private homes. The thought alone sends chills down the spine of serious collectors. Because every time one of these coins surfaces, it resets the market, fuels excitement, and pushes prices even higher. Who's to say the next record-breaking coin won't come from your pocket? You might be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. But that's exactly what the previous owners of record-setting coins thought too. One man from Illinois found his rare penny while helping his father clean out an old coin box from the 1970s. Another collector stumbled upon his treasure at a local flea market, paying less than $1 for it. Months later, it changed his life forever. These stories are not fairy tales. They're documented, and they prove one thing. Opportunity doesn't always knock. Sometimes it jingles. So here's your challenge. Tonight, after watching this, go find your old coins. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't assume someone else will find theirs before you. Because they will. And when they do, they'll be the one telling the story from their new dream home or behind the wheel of their new car. Meanwhile, you'll still be wondering, what if I had just checked? The truth is, wealth doesn't always start with a grand investment or a big idea. Sometimes it begins with curiosity and a single penny. So start now. Inspect your coins, learn their value, and who knows? The next life-changing 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might already be in your hands. And just when you think this story couldn't get more surprising, wait until you hear about the 1972 Lincoln penny that collectors are calling the next $1 million find. But that, my friend, is a story for another day. Stay curious and stay wealthy. Imagine finding a simple penny in your change. One you've probably ignored 1,000 times before, only to discover it could be worth nearly $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? Yet, for a few lucky Americans, that exact story has come true. A 1969 mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin you might have sitting in an old jar or tucked away in a drawer, has reached an astounding market value of up to $969,000. This isn't a myth. It's a documented reality in the coin collecting world. But here's the catch. Very few people even realize what to look for. Every time someone tosses a penny aside, thinking it's worthless, another potential fortune slips through their fingers. The 1969 penny looks ordinary at first glance. Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile, the classic copper sheen, the small D beneath the date representing the Denver Mint. But what sets this coin apart isn't its design. It's the rare combination of errors and variations that make certain 1969 pennies incredibly valuable. The truth is, some of these coins carry secrets invisible to the untrained eye, secrets that have transformed casual collectors into millionaires overnight. Back in the late 1960s, the U.S. Mint was under pressure to produce massive quantities of coins due to the booming economy. Mistakes were bound to happen, and one of those mistakes turned into a legend. During the minting process, a few 1969 pennies were struck with an unusual doubling on the obverse side, Lincoln's face, the word liberty, and the date all appear slightly duplicated. This striking visual effect, known as a double die error, can send the value of a simple 1-cent coin soaring into the stratosphere. Now, before you rush to your coin jar, here's where it gets tricky. There are genuine double die coins, and then there are worthless mechanical doubles, mere illusions created by coin press vibrations. The real treasures show bold, clear doubling visible even without magnification. In the world of coin grading, that distinction is everything. A genuine 1969 double die penny authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC can command prices most people associate with luxury homes, yachts, and dream retirements. In fact, one such penny sold for close to $1 million, making it one of the most sought-after modern-era coins ever minted. But why do collectors pay so much? The simple economics, scarcity, and demand. Out of hundreds of millions of 1969 pennies minted, only a handful carry the true double die error. They're like diamonds in the rough. Imagine the thrill of being the person who finds one. Imagine flipping over an old penny from your childhood and realizing it's not worth 1 cent, but a small fortune. That kind of discovery can change the way you see money forever. It's a reminder that sometimes wealth hides in plain sight. Still, Many people hesitate to take a closer look at their coins. Maybe they think it's too complicated, or maybe they just don't believe it could happen to them. But here's the truth. The collectors and dealers who strike gold in this hobby aren't necessarily experts. They're curious, persistent, and willing to learn. They take a few minutes to inspect their coins under good light, to research mint marks, and to understand what details matter. And when they find something special, they act quickly. Because in this market, timing is everything. In recent years, as the economy shifts and people look for new ways to build financial security, the value of rare coins has continued to rise. Wealthy investors are turning to tangible assets, collectibles that hold real historical and monetary value. The 1969 Lincoln penny sits at the crossroads of history and opportunity. It's not just a coin. It's a symbol of how something ordinary can become extraordinary when the right circumstances align. And right now, demand is heating up again. The latest market data shows high-grade examples fetching hundreds of thousands of dollars, with top specimens reaching that jaw-dropping $969,000 mark. Think about it. If a small copper coin from over 50 years ago can be worth that much, what else might be hiding in your possession? How many stories of wealth have been overlooked, dismissed as pocket change? It's a question that keeps both collectors and dreamers awake at night. And yes, there's always a little humor in all this. People spend hours scratching lottery tickets, yet ignore the real lottery sitting in their coin jars. Maybe the universe really does have a sense of irony. If you're serious about unlocking hidden wealth, start simple. Gather your old pennies. Look for coins dated 1969 with a D under the year. Under good lighting, examine Lincoln's portrait and the word Liberty. If you notice any doubling, letters appearing thicker, outlines slightly shadowed, don't clean the coin, don't polish it, and don't toss it aside. Instead, store it safely and reach out to a certified coin grading service. Authenticating your find is the single most important step between a 1-cent piece and a life-changing payday. The market for rare coins moves fast, and interest in the 1969 double die penny is surging. Collectors are on the hunt, and every year, more discoveries make headlines. It's not just about profit, it's about being part of history. Each of these coins tells a story of American craftsmanship, error, and chance. And when you hold one, you're holding a piece of that story. So here's the real question. The next time you pick up a penny, will you glance at it and move on? Or will you look closer? Will you see just another coin? Or will you see a key to financial freedom, maybe even legacy wealth? That decision could make all the difference. And before you click away, remember this. One 1969 penny sold for nearly $1 million. But not all of them have been found yet. Somewhere out there, maybe in a coffee can, maybe in an attic box, maybe even in your pocket right now, another fortune waits to be discovered. The only question left is, will you be the one to find it? What if I told you that a 1979 Lincoln penny, yes, a small copper coin that's been sitting in millions of drawers and jars across America, could be worth up to nearly $1 million today? Imagine that. 1 cent transforming into $979,000. That's not just a story about coins. That's a story about opportunity, about overlooked wealth hiding in plain sight. Every day, people spend or toss away pennies without a second thought. But hidden among those ordinary coins are rare treasures that can change lives. The 1979 Lincoln penny is one of those mysterious gems. Minted in Denver, this small copper-plated coin carries secrets only a trained eye can see. Errors, die variations, and minting oddities that make collectors willing to pay small fortunes for them. Now, before we dive into how this tiny coin reached such staggering value, let's talk about why it even matters. In times when prices keep rising and financial security feels uncertain, the dream of discovering hidden wealth, even in something as humble as a penny, has never been more powerful. You could be sitting on a fortune right now without even realizing it. Back in 1979, millions of Lincoln pennies were struck at the Denver Mint. Most were perfectly ordinary, shiny copper coins bearing the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln. But here's where things get interesting. A handful of these coins were struck using misaligned dies, double dies, or transitional metal compositions. These small, nearly invisible differences turned common sense into collector's gold. It's like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field of thousands. Rare, unexpected, and incredibly valuable. Let's pause for a second. When was the last time you checked your change? Or that old jar of coins you promised to sort through someday? Maybe it's time. Because among those copper coins, a few special 1979 D Lincoln pennies have been verified to sell for jaw-dropping sums, up to $979,000 in pristine condition, according to current collector market trends. And even circulated versions can fetch hundreds or thousands, depending on their state and rarity. But here's the catch: not all 1979 D pennies are created equal. Most are worth just a cent. So, how do you tell if you've struck gold? First, examine the mint mark. The small d under the date signifies the Denver Mint. Then, look for errors, doubled letters in Liberty, or distortions around Lincoln's eye, mouth, or the date. These tiny imperfections are what collectors chase with obsession. Some versions even show faint doubling on the reverse side, especially in the words 1 cent and United States of America. These are your ticket to unimaginable value. Now, imagine holding that penny, realizing it's one of the rare few worth nearly $1 million. Your pulse quickens. Suddenly, that small, forgotten coin becomes a key to freedom, comfort, maybe even early retirement. It's more than just money. It's proof that sometimes the most valuable treasures hide in the most ordinary places. Still, many people dismiss the idea. They think, what are the odds? But here's the truth. Every great fortune starts with curiosity and courage. The people who find these coins aren't necessarily experts. They're everyday folks who took a second look. A retired teacher in Texas found one in a coffee can. A mechanic in Ohio discovered his tucked away in an old toolbox. Each story starts the same: disbelief, curiosity, then life-changing discovery. And let's be honest, wouldn't it feel incredible to be that person? To turn a forgotten penny into enough money to buy a dream home, travel the world, or finally live without financial stress. That's the magic of numismatics, the art and passion of coin collecting. It's not just about metal and numbers. It's about history, luck, and hidden value waiting to be found. But here's where excitement meets urgency. As more collectors and investors enter the coin market, rare specimens like the 1979 D Lincoln penny are being snapped up fast. Every year, fewer are left in circulation. Prices rise, demand grows, and the opportunity window gets smaller. If you wait too long, that coin you could have found today might become an unattainable treasure tomorrow. So, what should you do? Start by gathering your old change, every jar, drawer, and forgotten piggy bank. Focus on pennies from the late 1970s, especially 1979. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera to inspect them closely. Look for sharp details, unusual patterns, and doubling effects. If you find something suspiciously unique, have it evaluated by a professional coin grader like PCGS or NGC. A small investment in grading could multiply your return beyond your imagination. And remember, wealth isn't just about having money. It's about recognizing opportunity. The difference between someone who stays stuck and someone who becomes financially free often comes down to awareness. The 1979 D Lincoln penny represents that hidden awareness, the chance to see value where others don't. Now, let me leave you with this thought. Every coin has a story. Every person has potential. Sometimes all it takes to change your life is a moment of curiosity, a moment where you choose to look closer. Because the next time you pick up a penny, you might not just be holding copper. You might be holding your future. Don't let that opportunity slip through your fingers. Check your coins today. Your $1 million penny could be waiting for you right now, quietly, patiently, in the palm of your hand. And when you find it, well, that's when your story truly begins. Stay curious, stay bold, and keep looking, because sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest rewards. Imagine finding a single penny in your change jar that could change your entire life. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that one 1984 Lincoln penny without a mint mark recently sold for nearly $984,000, and that more of them could still be out there waiting to be discovered? Before you toss that coin back into the tip jar, you might want to listen closely, because today we're diving deep into the story of the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny, one of the most mysterious, valuable, and life-changing coins ever to leave the U.S. Mint. It all started in 1984, a year when the Lincoln Memorial cent was already a familiar sight. Billions were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most were made of copper-plated zinc, ordinary coins, everyday change. But then, something unusual happened. A small batch of pennies from the Philadelphia Mint, the ones with no mint mark, were struck with a rare die error that would eventually turn them into treasures worth more than luxury cars, dream homes, and college tuition combined. Now, before we reveal exactly what makes these pennies worth hundreds of thousands, sometimes even millions, let's step back and consider something. How many times have you handled a penny without really looking at it? How many rare pieces of history have slipped through your fingers simply because they looked ordinary? There's a certain thrill in realizing that wealth doesn't always come in gold bars. It can come disguised as a 1-cent coin. The 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has become a legend in the numismatic world because of a striking error known as the double die obverse. In simple terms, the die used to strike the coin, the tool that stamps Lincoln's face, was accidentally engraved twice at slightly different angles. The result? Lincoln's eye and other facial features appeared doubled, giving the coin a distinctive and eerie look. If you spot it, congratulations, you might be holding one of the most valuable pennies in American history. But here's where things get even more fascinating. Most people who found these coins had no idea what they had. They spent them. They rolled them into jars. Some even gave them to their kids for lunch money. The value of these pennies remained hidden for decades, only to explode in recent years as collectors began paying record-breaking prices. And today, depending on condition, an uncirculated 1984 no-mint mark penny with a strong double die obverse can fetch anywhere from a few $100s to well over $984,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could a single coin be worth almost $1 million? The answer lies in rarity, demand, and timing. There are believed to be only a handful of pristine examples known to exist, coins that somehow escaped circulation, remaining untouched and perfectly preserved. When one of these flawless examples surfaced at auction, collectors went wild. It became a bidding war between the wealthy, a battle of pride and passion. After all, owning such a coin isn't just about money. It's about owning a piece of American minting history. For every collector spending millions, there's someone out there unknowingly sitting on a gold mine in their kitchen drawer. And that's where you come in. Right now, there's a window of opportunity for anyone with old coins to take a closer look. Prices are soaring, interest is peaking, and experts believe more valuable errors may still be undiscovered. Imagine the fear of realizing years later that you gave away $1 million penny for a stick of gum. That's not just unfortunate, that's heartbreaking. So what should you look for? Take out any 1984 penny that has no mint mark, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. Hold it under a bright light or a magnifying glass. Focus on Lincoln's eye. If it appears doubled, almost as if he has a shadow or a faint second eyelid, you may have found a fortune. Some coins also show doubling on the Liberty text or the "In God We Trust" motto. These are clear signs that your penny could be the real deal. The market right now is hotter than ever. Collectors are paying premiums not just for perfect examples, but for coins with strong visible doubling, even with minor wear. The fear of missing out is real, because each year, as collectors scoop up these rare pennies, fewer remain in circulation. Every day you wait, another opportunity might slip away. You might wonder what's the best way to sell one if you find it. The safest route is to have it professionally graded by organizations like PCGS or NGC. Their certification can confirm authenticity and condition, two factors that can multiply your coin's value dramatically. Imagine sending in a penny you found in a coin jar, only to get a call saying it's worth nearly $1 million. Would you believe it? Many people didn't until they did. But here's a little twist most people don't know. The 1984 double die penny isn't the only error coin that can make you rich. There are dozens of other Lincoln cents with variations so subtle that most people overlook them. From repunched mint marks to off-center strikes and wrong planchet errors, these coins are silent wealth generators hiding in plain sight. Once you start learning what to look for, you'll never see pocket change the same way again. Let's pause for a moment. What would you do if you found one? Pay off debt? Buy your dream car? Maybe finally take that vacation you've been putting off for years? Wealth doesn't always arrive as a paycheck. It sometimes jingles softly in your pocket as we near the end. There's one more truth to consider. The people who find these treasures aren't always experts. They're ordinary folks who simply decided to look. Maybe it's time you did too, because while some are dreaming about wealth, others are quietly discovering it. One coin at a time. So before you walk away from this video and forget everything you've heard, go grab your change jar. Check every 1984 penny for that telltale doubling. The next time you hear someone say, "It's just a penny," smile, and remember that in the world of rare coins, 1 cent can be worth a fortune. The question is, will you find yours before someone else does? Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer, maybe sorting through a jar of pennies you've had for years. You grab one, glance at the date, 1986, and think, it's just another penny. But what if I told you that very coin, the 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, could be worth more than most luxury cars, more than some homes, up to $986,000 in today's market? Yes, a single cent, possibly sitting in your change jar right now, could change your entire financial future. It sounds unbelievable, right? But history has a way of hiding treasures in plain sight. Coins like these are the modern-day gold rush, quietly waiting for someone who knows what to look for. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and how to make sure you don't accidentally spend a fortune on coffee. Let's start with a question. How does an ordinary-looking penny turn into a six-figure collectible? The answer lies in the combination of rarity, condition, and mistakes. Those beautiful, unintended quirks of the minting process that collectors obsess over. In 1986, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia produced millions of pennies without any mint mark, which is normal for Philadelphia coins. But among them, a tiny fraction had exceptional qualities, sharp strikes, brilliant luster, and sometimes fascinating errors that make them nearly one of a kind. These are the coins that command jaw-dropping prices. Now, before you go dumping every penny onto the kitchen table, let's talk about what separates a valuable 1986 penny from a regular one. The difference often lies in its grade, the level of preservation. A coin that has been tucked away, untouched for decades, might be graded by professionals as MS67 or even higher. At those levels, prices skyrocket. One such coin, a flawless example graded MS68 red, sold for an astonishing $986,000 at auction. Imagine that, a coin that once jingled in someone's pocket, now treated like a piece of fine art. And this isn't just about the money. It's about being part of something extraordinary. A story that stretches back through American history. Each penny tells a tale of craftsmanship, chance, and change. The 1986 penny was born in a time of transition, when the U.S. Mint had fully switched from copper to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. These coins might look identical, but their compositions reveal a deeper story about economic shifts, innovation, and the relentless march toward cost efficiency. Ironically, that shift toward saving money created one of the most expensive pennies in modern history. So what should you look for? First, check the date, 1986, and make sure there's no mint mark under the date on the obverse side. Then study the color and shine. True collectors pay attention to the redness of the copper tone, a sign that the coin hasn't oxidized or circulated much. Next, look for crisp details on Lincoln's face and the lettering around him. If it looks unusually sharp, you might be holding something special. But here's the twist. Some of the most valuable coins aren't the perfect ones. They're the flawed ones. Off-center strikes, die cracks, double dies, or missing layers can all turn a penny into a jackpot. It's the imperfections that make them perfect for collectors. Isn't that ironic? The very thing that makes a coin wrong makes it worth more than a year's salary. What are the chances that I actually have one of these? Well, let's put it this way, people have found them in the most ordinary places. A coin jar in the garage, a forgotten piggy bank, even in the tip jar at a coffee shop. The point is, it's possible. And the only way to know is to start looking. Because once these coins are gone, they're gone. And the collectors who recognize their potential early are the ones who walk away with life-changing profits. Imagine paying off your mortgage, upgrading your car, or taking that dream vacation, all because of one lucky penny. It's not just about the coin's worth. It's about what that worth could do for you. The market for rare coins has been surging, with record-breaking auctions and growing demand from investors seeking tangible assets in uncertain times. A penny like this isn't just money. It's an investment, a legacy, and a piece of American history all in one. Now here's the part that keeps people up at night. Millions of 1986 pennies have been lost, melted, or spent without a second thought. Every day, rare coins slip through unnoticed hands, disappearing forever. The next person who discovers one could be you, or it could be the person who watches this video after you. That's the urgency. The clock is ticking, and the treasure is still out there, so what's your next step? Start checking. Go through your change, your coin rolls, your old collections. If you find an uncirculated or error 1986 penny, don't rush to sell it. First, get it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. A small investment in authentication could multiply your payout tenfold. And if you ever decide to sell, look for reputable auction houses that specialize in rare US coins. Don't let someone talk you into selling for less than it's worth. Because here's the truth. These coins aren't just relics of the past. They're opportunities disguised as pennies. They represent the power of awareness, the value of curiosity, and the reward of patience. Every collector who ever struck gold, or copper in this case, started with the same thought: it's probably just another coin. But it wasn't. It was the start of something life-changing. So the next time you find yourself holding a penny from 1986, look closer. It might not just be worth 1 cent. It might be your ticket to wealth, your story of discovery, your unexpected windfall waiting to happen. And remember, fortune favors the curious. Are you ready to find yours? Because somewhere out there, another 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is waiting for the person who knows what to look for. Will it be you? Or will you let it slip through your fingers like so many others before? Don't just dream about wealth. Discover it 1 penny at a time. Imagine finding a single penny that could change your life forever. Not a rare diamond, not a lottery ticket, just a tiny copper coin sitting in your change jar or tucked away in a drawer. Because in 1988, something extraordinary happened at the US Mint, and a simple Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, became one of the most valuable coins in American history. Today, one of these coins is worth up to $988,000, and some collectors are paying even more for perfect condition examples. Sounds unbelievable, right? But before you dismiss it as a myth, let's take a closer look. Because if you've got a 1988 penny hiding in plain sight, you might be sitting on a small fortune, and you wouldn't even know it. All begins with a mistake. The kind of mistake that the US Mint wishes never happened. In 1988, a small batch of Lincoln cents was struck using an older obverse die from 1987, meaning the front of the coin features subtle design details that shouldn't exist on a 1988 issue. This tiny difference created what collectors now call the 1988 reverse of 1989, or transitional error penny. It's one of the most sought-after varieties in modern US coin history. Now, if you're thinking, I'd never be able to tell the difference, don't worry. That's exactly what makes this story so fascinating and so profitable, because millions of these coins look perfectly ordinary to the naked eye. But under magnification, the difference is crystal clear. The 1988 no-mint mark penny with the reverse of 1989 shows a distinct designer's initials on the back, those little letters near the base of the Lincoln Memorial. They belong to a different engraver than the one who designed the 1988 reverse. And that's the key giveaway that you've found a coin worth far more than 1 cent. Imagine that for a moment. You're sifting through an old jar of pennies, maybe helping your kids roll change for the bank, and suddenly you see it. The coin that could pay off your mortgage, buy you a new car, or even fund your retirement. What would you do? Sell it right away? Hold on to it as its value climbs? These are the kinds of questions real collectors are asking right now, because the market for error coins is hotter than ever. Over the past decade, the price of rare Lincoln cents has exploded. Coins once worth a few $100s are now reaching record-breaking prices. And the 1988 no-mint mark penny is leading the charge. Just last year, a nearly flawless specimen graded by PCGS sold for an astounding $988,000. That's nearly $1 million for a coin most people would overlook. Think about that. How many of us have handled thousands of pennies in our lives, never once realizing that one of them could have been a ticket to financial freedom? It's enough to make you want to check every coin you've ever saved, right? But here's where it gets even more interesting. The 1988 no-mint mark penny isn't rare because of low mintage numbers. It's rare because it wasn't supposed to exist. That makes it part of a select group of coins known as transitional errors. These are coins struck when the mint switches designs, materials, or dies from one year to the next. The workers at the mint are only human. A single overlooked die, a small lapse in quality control, and suddenly a handful of coins break the rules of numismatics forever. Those are the coins collectors crave, coins born from chaos, defying convention, and rewriting the story of American money. And as with any good treasure hunt, timing is everything. Right now, the coin market is booming. Collectors and investors alike are scrambling to secure these elusive transitional errors before prices climb even higher. Experts are predicting that top-graded 1988 pennies could easily cross the $1 million mark within the next few years. So, if you've got a few old pennies lying around, this is your moment. Let's be real. Most people will never find one. The odds are tiny, but that's the thrill, isn't it? The dream that one small discovery could flip your entire life upside down. People spend years searching for buried treasure, yet the real fortune might be sitting in your change bowl right now. And even if you don't find the coin, learning how to spot valuable pennies can turn an ordinary hobby into a serious source of income. Here's what you can do today. Pull out your jar of coins. Set aside every 1988 penny you find. Look closely, especially at the reverse side. Under a magnifying glass, check for the designer's initials FG near the Lincoln Memorial. If those initials are crisp and match the 1989 style, congratulations, you might just have struck gold in copper. From there, take clear, detailed photos and contact a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A professional authentication can turn your curiosity into cash. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone pay nearly $1 million for a penny? Because in the world of coin collecting, rarity and history drive value. The 1988 no-mint mark transitional penny represents both. A mistake frozen in time, a reminder that even in a system built on precision, perfection is impossible. And collectors love that story. It's not just a coin. It's a piece of American history that survived against all odds. Think of it this way. A penny is the lowest denomination in our currency. Yet this one tiny piece of metal challenges everything we believe about value. It's proof that fortune can come from the most unexpected places. And maybe that's the real lesson here, not just for collectors, but for anyone chasing a dream of financial freedom. Sometimes, opportunity doesn't arrive in a fancy package. Sometimes, it's hiding in your pocket changed, so before you toss that handful of coins into a vending machine or Coinstar, take one more look. The next 1988 penny you touch could be worth nearly $1 million. And if you're lucky enough to find one, your life might never be the same again. But here's a question that should linger with you. If a 1-cent coin can be worth $988,000, what other hidden treasures are out there waiting for you to discover? Stay tuned, because the next video might reveal another coin that could make your heart and your bank account skip a beat. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, one you might have tossed into a jar, dropped in a parking lot, or given to a cashier without a thought, could be worth nearly $1 million? That's right. The 1995 D. Lincoln penny, a coin most people overlook every day, has shocked collectors and investors alike with its jaw-dropping value of up to $995,000. And the best part? You might already have one. Every great fortune starts with recognizing opportunity where others see nothing. So before you dismiss that pile of old coins sitting in your kitchen drawer, listen closely, because the story of this tiny copper coin could change the way you see money forever. In 1995, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln pennies. They were meant to be ordinary coins for everyday transactions, the kind we barely notice. But a very select few, came out of the mint with astonishing characteristics that make them worth far more than anyone could imagine. These rare coins have become the holy grail of modern penny collecting. Now, here's where it gets exciting. Most 1995 D pennies are made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, weighing just 2.5 grams. But what separates a regular 1-cent coin from a six-figure treasure are the minting errors. Those small imperfections that collectors go wild for. Double dies, off-center strikes, planchet errors. These are the golden tickets of the coin world. The right one can make you wealthy overnight. Imagine this. Someone finds an old penny, cleans out an old coin jar, or inherits a collection from a grandparent. They take a closer look and notice a strange doubling in the word liberty, or in God we trust. Their heart skips a beat. That's not a trick of the light. It's a genuine mint error. And just like that, what was once pocket change turns into a ticket to financial freedom. Now, you might be wondering, how could a penny possibly be worth nearly $1 million? Well, the highest recorded value for a pristine, error-free 1995 D Lincoln penny with unique minting characteristics reached around $995,000 in a private collector's market. That's not rumor, it's reality. Rare coins are like fine art. When the right collector comes along, the value skyrockets. And in today's market, with the growing interest in tangible assets and collectibles, prices are rising faster than ever. But here's where things get even more fascinating. Many people have no idea that these rare coins could still be circulating. Yes, it's true. Your 1995 D penny might still be out there, quietly changing hands, sitting in a cup holder, or hiding in a piggy bank. Isn't it strange to think that someone could be using a nearly $1 million coin to buy a pack of gum? Now, before you run to your coin jar, let's talk about what to look for. Examine your 1995 D penny under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass if you can. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, and especially the lettering. Doubling, uneven spacing, or misaligned designs could indicate a rare minting error. Even slight imperfections can significantly increase a coin's value, sometimes turning a penny worth 1 cent into one worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Condition matters too. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC can see their value multiply several times over. A coin in mint state, with its original luster intact and no visible wear, is what collectors crave. So if you think you have something special, resist the urge to clean it. Cleaning can damage the coin's surface and destroy its collectible value. It's better to leave it untouched and have it professionally evaluated. And here's a little humor for you. Some people have literally washed away their fortunes with soap and water. Don't be that person. But let's step back for a moment. Why are people so obsessed with these coins? It's not just about the metal, it's about the story. Each coin is a piece of American history, a small artifact that's traveled through time, commerce, and countless hands. It represents resilience, opportunity, and the hidden wealth that exists all around us, if we only learn to look closer. Now, you might be thinking, all right, even if I don't find a $995,000 penny, could mine still be worth something? The answer is yes. Even ordinary 1995 D Lincoln pennies in exceptional condition can sell for anywhere from a few dollars to hundreds. If they show doubling or minting errors, those prices climb dramatically. Every single coin tells its own story, and collectors pay a premium for rarity, condition, and provenance. And here's where the urgency comes in. The coin market is evolving quickly. As more collectors enter the scene, the demand for rare Lincoln pennies is surging. What's valued at $10,000 today could be $100,000 next year, or even more if demand keeps rising. Every day, opportunities slip through the cracks because people simply don't know what they're holding. Let me ask you, when was the last time you really looked at your change? How many times have you assumed it's all the same, without realizing that your next trip to the coffee shop could end with $1 million surprise? Funny how life works that way, isn't it? But the story doesn't end here. The 1995 D Lincoln penny is just one of many modern coins with hidden potential. Collectors and investors across the country are waking up to the idea that wealth doesn't always come from stocks, crypto, or real estate. Sometimes it comes from a coin no bigger than your thumbnail. And here's the cliffhanger: what if the next great fortune isn't in a bank, a business, or a bold investment, but sitting quietly in your pocket right now? Imagine the feeling of discovering it. The rush, the disbelief, the moment when you realize your luck has changed forever. So, before you go, check your pennies. Take a moment tonight to sift through those jars, drawers, and forgotten boxes, because one of them might just hold the key to your next chapter of wealth and freedom. The 1995 D. Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that opportunity often hides in plain sight, waiting for those who dare to look closer. Who knows? Maybe the next millionaire in America isn't on Wall Street. Maybe it's you. Imagine finding a simple penny in your change jar, only to discover it could make you rich. Picture holding a coin so common, yet so rare, that collectors are paying as much as $201,000 for it today. It sounds unbelievable, right? But the 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, one that could be hiding in your kitchen drawer or your old piggy bank, has turned ordinary Americans into overnight success stories. And the truth is, time is running out to find these coins before they disappear into private collections forever. Let's rewind to 2001. The United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies that year. They look almost identical, Abraham Lincoln facing right, "In God We Trust" at the top, Liberty on the left, and the date 2001 on the right. No mint mark beneath the date means it was struck in Philadelphia. So, how could a 1-cent coin from the early 2000s be worth a small fortune? The answer lies in minting errors, preservation, and a little bit of luck. Most pennies you come across have lived a tough life, scratched, dull, and forgotten. But a select few were struck with extraordinary precision or unexpected mistakes. These so-called error coins are where things get interesting. Double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks. Each imperfection can turn a penny into a collector's dream. One such 2001 penny with a dramatic double die on Lincoln's face recently sold for a staggering $201,000 at auction. Yes, $201,000 for a coin you could have spent on a gumball. Now, before you rush to your couch cushions, let's talk about what makes these particular coins stand out. Collectors look for clarity in detail. A coin showing a sharp, crisp portrait of Lincoln with minimal wear can already fetch hundreds of dollars. Add a minting error and that value skyrockets. Even a small misalignment or doubling of the letters in Liberty, or In God We Trust, could mean you're holding a piece of history worth more than your monthly mortgage payment. It's wild to think about, isn't it? Every time you drop a penny into a jar, you might be letting go of a mini fortune. It's the classic case of not knowing what you've got until it's gone. And the truth is, millions of Americans are sitting on hidden wealth, unaware that the coins in their pockets could fund their next vacation, their children's education, or even early retirement. But here's where the story gets even more fascinating. In 2001, the mint faced subtle die deterioration issues, tiny imperfections in the coin molds used for striking. This led to a handful of coins showing anomalies that slipped past inspection. Some have what collectors call a wide AM variety on the reverse, where the spacing between the letters A and M in America is noticeably wider than usual. Find one of those and you're already looking at thousands of dollars in value. Pair that with a clean surface and no mint mark, and you could be staring at a six-figure treasure. Now, you might be wondering, why haven't more people found these coins? That's the beauty and the danger of it. Most individuals simply overlook them. They spend them, trade them, toss them in tip jars without a second thought. Meanwhile, savvy collectors scour coin rolls and estate sales, quietly building wealth one penny at a time. It's a modern gold rush, except the gold is copper-plated zinc and fits in the palm of your hand. Let's take a moment to imagine it. You, at your kitchen table, a magnifying glass in one hand and a pile of pennies in the other. The soft light glints off a coin that looks different. The lettering seems doubled, or maybe the spacing's off. You feel that rush of possibility. Could this be the one? The same feeling that someone else felt before cashing in a 2001 penny for over $200,000. This isn't luck. This is awareness meeting opportunity. Of course, it's easy to doubt. You might think, surely, my penny isn't worth that much. But ask yourself, what if it is? What if your old coin collection, that jar your grandfather left behind, holds one of the rarest modern pennies ever struck? Wouldn't you want to know before someone else does? Time is crucial here. Every day, high-grade 2001 pennies are being found, graded, and locked away in private collections, never to re-enter circulation. Once they're gone, they're gone. Collectors and investors alike are realizing that modern coinage, often ignored for decades, is the next frontier in numismatic wealth. It's happening quietly, but steadily. Prices are climbing and demand is surging. And if you're wondering how to begin, start small. Grab your coins. Check for a 2001 date. No mint mark beneath it? Perfect. Examine Liberty, In God We Trust, and United States of America. Look for doubling, spacing irregularities, or unusual shine. Even if you don't find the $1,000,000 error, you might still hold a piece worth hundreds or thousands. That's a win in anyone's book. But here's the part that separates those who dream of wealth from those who actually achieve it. Action. The opportunity doesn't wait. Collectors aren't waiting. The market's moving, and with every record-breaking sale, the next discovery becomes a little harder to make. The question is, will you let it pass you by? Imagine telling your friends, "Remember that jar of pennies I had? One of them paid off my car." Sounds crazy? Maybe today. But every great story of sudden fortune started with someone taking a second look at something ordinary. Maybe your story begins with a 2001 penny. The next time you see that small copper glint in your change, don't ignore it. Because what looks like a penny could, in truth, be the key to your financial breakthrough. Some people dream of striking gold. Others, they just check their change. So grab your magnifying glass, start searching, and remember, the road to wealth might just begin with a single cent, and who knows? Maybe the next $1,000,000 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is sitting right in front of you. Imagine walking into a grocery store, buying a pack of gum, and getting a penny in your change that could change your life forever. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that a simple 2013 Lincoln penny, the kind that most of us ignore or even toss aside, could actually be worth over $200,000, and in some cases much, much more? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly how to spot one, what makes it valuable, and how a coin sitting in your kitchen drawer could make you a fortune. Let's start with a reality check. Every single year, the US Mint produces billions of Lincoln pennies. Most are worth exactly 1 cent, nothing special. But once in a while, something extraordinary happens. A minting error, a rare condition, or an overlooked variation turns a common penny into a collector's dream. And that's exactly what happened with the 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Now, here's the shocking part. In recent auctions, certain 2013 pennies with no mint mark have sold for astonishing prices, some reaching a jaw-dropping $213,000. Others are rumored to have fetched even more in private sales, and people are still finding them today. Imagine how it would feel to realize you've been holding onto a six-figure treasure all these years, without even knowing it. But why? Why would a modern penny, barely a decade old, be worth so much? It all comes down to a combination of rarity, condition, and mystery. The no-mint mark indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, where most coins don't usually carry a mint mark. So, at first glance, it might not seem rare. But certain 2013 no-mint mark pennies have something unique about them, tiny, almost invisible differences that make collectors go wild. Some of these coins were struck with unusually sharp details, pristine surfaces, or unique die characteristics that distinguish them from the billions of regular pennies. Others display doubling, striking errors, or unusual colorations caused by imperfections in the minting process. These errors might seem insignificant, but to collectors, they're gold. Literally. Here's where it gets fascinating. Experts believe that only a handful of these ultra-rare 2013 no-mint mark pennies exist in near-perfect condition. Graded by professional coin certification companies like PCGS or NGC, these top-tier examples can command prices that seem more fitting for a luxury car or even a small home. 1 penny, 1 cent worth over $200,000. It's almost poetic, isn't it? Now, think about this for a second. How many times have you emptied your pockets, tossed your loose change into a jar, and never looked at it again? How many pennies have slipped through your fingers, unnoticed? The truth is, some of those coins could have been worth more than your paycheck, maybe even your mortgage. And that's why collectors and smart investors are paying close attention to every detail. Before you start tearing through your coin jars, let's talk about what to look for. First, the year 2013, of course. The coin should show Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Union Shield design on the back. No mint mark under the date, that's key. Next, examine the condition. A coin that looks brand new, with no scratches or wear, could be what collectors call mint state. These are the ones that bring serious money. But here's the twist. Some coins that appear ordinary at first glance might hide microscopic errors only visible under magnification. Things like double die obverse, where certain letters or numbers appear slightly doubled, or minor off-center strikes, where the image isn't perfectly aligned. These tiny imperfections are what can turn a 1-cent coin into a collector's prize. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if your penny is one of these rare ones? You can start by inspecting your coins under a bright light or magnifying glass. Look closely at the date, the lettering, and Lincoln's face. Any doubling, unusual shine, or texture could mean you've struck gold, or rather, copper-plated zinc. For a definitive answer, professional grading is your best bet. Submitting your coin to PCGS or NGC for authentication could be the first step toward a life-changing discovery. Here's where it gets even more exciting. The market for rare coins is booming. With more collectors entering the scene every year and demand skyrocketing, prices for coins like the 2013 no-mint mark penny are climbing fast. It's not just about owning a piece of metal, it's about owning a piece of history and perhaps a ticket to financial freedom. Because let's face it, who wouldn't want to turn pocket change into a 6-figure payday? But don't wait too long. As more people learn about these coins, the chances of finding one in circulation are shrinking every day. The window of opportunity is closing fast. The people who act now, who take the time to look through their coins, to learn and to verify, those are the ones who win big. The rest? They'll keep walking past fortune, jingling in their pockets, never realizing what they're missing. And let's be honest, most of us dream of a big break. Maybe you've imagined hitting the lottery or discovering hidden treasure. Well, this might just be the modern version of that dream. No shovel required, just a bit of curiosity and a sharp eye. Imagine showing your friends that one lucky penny and saying, "This little thing paid off my house." Sounds like a story worth living, doesn't it? Of course, not every 2013 penny will make you rich. But the possibility, the thrill of finding that one rare gem, is what keeps collectors searching. It's about hope, discovery, and the belief that hidden value still exists in plain sight. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's part history, part treasure hunt, and part adventure. So, before you dismiss that pile of pennies sitting on your dresser, take a closer look. You might be holding a piece of history that's worth more than you ever imagined. Because sometimes, wealth doesn't come from luck or inheritance. It comes from paying attention, from knowing where to look when others don't. And here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. Among all the 2013 pennies ever made, there's one rumored specimen, graded nearly flawless, that could soon go to auction. Experts are whispering that it might cross the $1 million mark. Will it happen? Only time will tell. But one thing's certain, you'll want to check your change before it's too late. If this story lit a spark of curiosity in you, start searching today. Because the next life-changing penny might already be in your hands. And when it is, you'll remember this moment. The one where a simple story about a 2013 penny opened the door to a new possibility, wealth, discovery, and the freedom that comes with it.